We'll see how that plays out as well. We've talked about movies. Now, the one medium where I feel like we have a shit ton of potential, a shit ton of options coming up this summer is on TV, the streaming services. And you and I are pretty much neck and neck. We couldn't really get excited about anything. I mean, if there's one movie at my and I'm happy to report this, if there's one honorable mention here, my wife and I are going to start watching The Bear this weekend.
Nice.
Because season 3 starts at the end of June, and so we're going to start watching that. I've heard the show is really, really good, so I'm excited to check that out. So we're going to start watching The Bear this weekend to get caught up. And the reason we're watching The Bear is because this past week we watched The Iron Claw, and the guy who plays the bear was in Iron Claw. And, dude, watching Iron Claw again, I was still fucking teary-eyed as fuck in that movie, dude.
Yeah, I keep looking at it on HBO, and I'm like, I just don't know if I have it in me right now to watch this.
Yeah,
like,
man, dude, and the missus, man, she was a fucking wreck. She was a wreck, man. It's an incredibly effective movie, you know, for sure. So, but yeah, we'll be watching The Bear. But Tone, there's 3 movies, dude.
There's really 3 to rule them all.
Or 3 TV shows to rule them all, and all of them launch within like 2 weeks of one another.
No shit.
We have like once June starts, you guys, it's pedal to the metal streaming services.
Yep.
Get ready because I think these are all on different streaming services. Yeah, the big 3 basically.
Yeah, they're on
Disney Plus, Amazon, and HBO. You're gonna need all 3 to get caught up or to keep up with the big shows of this summer. Tone, first up, let's go by date. Next week, Star Wars, The Acolyte.
Yeah.
Starting to see some buzz on social media about this. High quality special effects. We moved away from the shitty stuff that we've seen in like Boba Fett. We're seeing high quality special effects now. That's good to hear because that's always been kind of one of the things like with the Disney Plus shows, like, this looks kind of fucking.
Yeah, they want to present them as if they're movie quality, but they're not funding them like that.
Yeah, and they're cringy in some scenes. You're just like, ugh.
Right.
And when you do that, you pull me out of the experience.
Exactly. And I have some reserves on it overall. You know, again, anytime Star Wars, I have some form of reserve, I suppose, but that's mostly with Disney being involved. That being said, I actually think there's a lot of potential here with this one. You know, I definitely love exploring, as we talked earlier, non-Jedi things. I'm really a big fan of that. But this takes place during the High Republic, a time frame we've not really touched a whole lot of. You know, this can lead to a lot of other questions that even actually mix in with the prequels really well too.
Sure.
That being said, this looks really intriguing. A lot of different characters, more Jedi, you know, so it's not just like really focusing on like, you know, one character or 2 characters. This is a handful of them,
right?
And we're gonna see how this plays out. So I'm excited for this. I think this has some really good potential.
I'm with Tony on this as well. Like I said, man, this is going to be something a little bit different, a little bit darker than what we've experienced. It could, by all accounts, I mean, it could be one of the darker Star Wars like stories that we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be gritty, it's going to be fucking violent to some degree. Which again, when they're able to branch away from the expectation of a Star Wars stuff, like Andor was, I feel like that piques my interest more because I'm getting away from what I'm expecting from a Star Wars movie or show.
Yeah, I feel like the one thing that I would say I'll just initially say I'm concerned about, and it's really about a bait and switch potential with this. I'm a big fan of Sith in the Star Wars universe. So when you see the Acolyte, you see the red, you're thinking, I really want a dark tale, more POV from the dark side. Like,
sure.
I just don't see that Disney's ready to double down on something like that. So I feel like you're going to kind of think that it's going to be one thing, or maybe it could be or has potential to be thing. But already from the trailers, you're seeing a lot of Jedi and a lot of stuff like that. So I don't know if we'll ever get something like that like I've always wanted.
Sure.
And I think this will be about as close as I can. So I just it feels like it's going to be one of those things where you're thinking like, oh, this is going to be a little bit kind of like the matter of fact the recent Star Wars The Empire Tales, like it just kind of limp wristed through being like a bad guy tale.
Sure.
And I feel like that this would be great if it was a bad guy or gal tale, but I just don't think it's going to be, which again, if the
Hope
rest
not.
if the rest of the story is really good, it don't really matter, right? But
Right.
we got to get through that first.
So yeah, the first 2 episodes will drop next week on June 4th, which I think is
What day
Tuesday?
Is that Tuesday? 1, 2, 3, 4.
tomorrow's the 30th, 31st. So
Monday's-
Sunday is
so, yeah,
first,
Tuesday.
second, third. Yeah, yep, Tuesday. We'll get the first 2 episodes
Oh,
on
shit.
Tuesday. Talk about that next week. So
Primetime or whatever.
hype. And then Tone,
Yeah.
we'll jump ahead 9 days. Out of these 3 shows we're going to discuss, is probably the one I'm most excited about. The Boys season 4
Mhm.
starts on June 13th. Dude, like this is that one show that it took me forever to get into, and you guys kept giving me shit, and it's rightfully so, because it is seriously one of the most like compelling shows
Mm,
I've seen. And even the spinoff that we saw a couple months ago, it's just been really fucking good. And the trailer that they dropped for this, I mean, you can see Homelander's influence, and and the danger that he presents, the threat that he presents. And I just Billy Butcher and company and all these guys. I mean, every episode is like a cliffhanger. Every episode you're just like, it's the truest form of like, can't wait to see what happens next week.
Yeah, it's all gratuitous, and that's just shows that we're all pieces of shit, not just me. And if humans were superheroes, they'd be pieces of shit too.
Absolutely. But I mean, you're pretty hyped about it. I mean, excited to see where they go from here.
Yeah, I mean, this would probably normally be my number one excited TV series for the summer. It is actually probably number 2 though, potentially number 3 right now, just because we've already had some seasons of it. So
Sure.
I reserve my number 1 excitement for the next one, but I'm excited for this for sure. Like, I mean, it's a great world to explore, and I've loved every single minute of watching The Boys.
Awesome. And Tone, as you were just alluding to,
Mhm.
your number 1 most anticipated show. Probably my number 2. What's that?
110%.
100%.
I'm
110.
so fucking hype about this.
Wow.
It's because I'm gonna have a Sunday 9:00 show
Yes.
again. I'm gonna get that fucking nostalgia feel of being like Sunday night.
Sunday night. Talk about it on Monday and
Yup.
Tuesday.
Gotta
Try to
show.
theorize what's going to happen
Yup.
next Sunday and what's going to be next.
Mhm,
Game of Thrones is back, dude.
mhm.
Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, season 1 was fucking awesome. Gave me those good old time Game of Thrones vibes again. Placing the table, setting up enemy lines, and things of that nature. It was really fucking awesome. But House of the Dragon season 2 starts 3 days after The Boys season 4.
It's fine.
And
It's fine.
that'll be available on HBO Max. Glad I'm only interested in The Boys and don't have to find time for the other. Jay Hill, you're doing things the right way, my friend. I can assure you of that. But Tone, I mean, House of the Dragon. I mean, it's hard to sit there and get excited about what could be because we have no idea. The way these stories play
Right.
out, we have no idea.
Right, and honestly, like last season when it was out, it was last year or the year before?
2 years.
Yeah, so it's been that long now at this point.
I think so.
Maybe has it been 2 years?
Was it last year?
I don't know, was it last year?
I'm old. I don't
I'm
know.
trying to
Time
remember
fly.
if it was
I don't.
last
I don't
year.
have the same
Nah.
sense of time that I used to.
No, I don't know anymore. But I think it was last year. I could be wrong. It doesn't matter. Point is, really, really excited about this. The first season of House of the Dragon, like everybody was worried, can we really find the magic?
Can we
back?
move on?
Yeah, and I think we can. And I think it did. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
if it hit those levels necessarily, but I do know that a lot of people that watch this have been happy with it. I mean, it's been pretty critically acclaimed.
Yeah.
And
And I don't think we're ever gonna. I don't think we should hit those levels in the first season. You got to build up to that 2 or 3 seasons in.
Probably. And honestly, it had some of the best dialogue and character development and things going on that we hadn't seen in a minute, not since really that Game of Thrones vibe. And I think we're gonna get more of that this season as well too. So I'm fucking hyped for this. So like I said, all the other 2 I'm excited about. Don't get me wrong, but more House of the Dragons, please.
You know who did a 180 in my eyes?
Hmm.
Matt Smith. Because the only
You can't
thing
go off Morbius for him though.
that's the thing, man. That's the only thing I knew about him.
That's
I know he was on what Doctor.
He was on Doctor Who.
Doctor
He
Who.
was actually pretty awful in that one that one Terminator movie. But that was again that
But
well, he
like
wasn't awful,
literally,
but,
my first experience with Matt Smith was the Morbius movie.
Matt Smith is a pretty renowned British actor.
And
so.
I believe it now, but like going into it, I was just like, I mean, because I had heard he was such a renowned actor, and then you go see Morbius, and all I can think about is that fucking dance scene. I'm just like, oh my god, what is going on?
That movie is if he can't even salvage it. So.
But then you go into the first season of House of Dragon, I'm just like, okay, now I see this guy's potential. I see the cast potential. The story is a slow burn and it's building up. Like I said, those party lines, figuring out who's with who, and
so exciting.
I mean, dude, it's like I said, it's that old Game of Thrones feeling. Like they're just the subplots and all the scheming and everything. The alliance is being built, and whether they're genuine or if they're fucking bullshit. I love that about Game of Thrones, and I love that about House of Dragons. And I am, like I said, man, June with these 3 shows plus The Bear. Dude, when am I mean, that's 4 streaming platforms. That's Disney, HBO, Amazon, and Hulu. What the fucking fuck?
I know. And all I want is Stranger Things next season. That's all I
we
want.
ain't getting. Thank the fuck God we won't get that until next year.
Yeah.
That's a 2025 title. We ain't getting that this year. And thank fucking God. But we want to get you guys to go south. There's a ton of shows coming out this summer. These are the 3 that stood out to me, as well as Tone. We seriously looked at these lists. I'm like, these are the ones I'm most excited about.
I'm excited about a new Umbrella Academy too, but
I mean, we could only choose 3.
Right.
I mean, they're like I said, I feel like out of all
There
the
is.
mediums that we cover, movies, TV shows, and video games, TV shows is the one where there's just
it's just ramping up.
it's everywhere, and there's tons to offer, and there's tons of things to be excited about. Whereas movies, not really sure. Video games, no fucking clue after this week. It's just like, I need to know what's coming up to get excited about it. And right now, TV shows has the edge.
Yeah.
Let us know what you're excited about this summer when it comes to your favorite streaming